especially for Nigerians. Like, all Nigerians should be very concerned about it. All Africans should be concerned about it, because this event is mirrored around the African continent, specifically West Africa. Because you remember that Niger has been having issues with militants.
I speak on behalf of those whose loved ones have been killed, but no one has even offered a word of consolation to them. I speak on behalf of the thousands of young girls who have been adopted and raped because no one, not even the media, mentions them anymore.
A lot of you didn't know why I was angry yesterday, even when I stated that, of course, in the video. But I don't blame you people. We have to go back to the old being real judge. I'm so sorry to my older audience who have known me for a long time. And that's why I'm even talking about this on my smaller Annex channel. Now, with respect to what I've been discussing about Sunday Jackson, first of all, where the Catholic bishops of Nigeria had a recent conference whereby they even had to go to the point of meeting with the president, or what I say, writing to him, because it was just a recent meeting like you see right now playing on your screen, where they got to meet with the president as well to talk about the issues that faces Nigeria with respect to religious conflict and other things they also propose, even to the point of talking about initiatives that are doing as well to establish schools, medical facilities where people can go and learn at a subsidized rate, of course, with respect to contributing to economy and all of that. And it's going to make sense as well, this video that I saw of Dr. Mensa Otabil when they were having a Dolos conference. I'll be discussing about this conference in full on my main channel. You know, this channel as well here is not all of my, would I say, those who have known me for years are here. And there's a reason why I'm choosing to discuss about this here. It's very intentional. So I know what I'm doing. People were calling me out in my previous video in the comment typing, you know, if you cannot stand the truth that is before your face, don't even come to my comment, because mpiasu kanga piasugi. When I say mpiasu means that it's ora for ora. And I'm not here joking. Ever since I heard about this Sunday Jackson case, it's been troubling me. I don't know why. But I like as well this video I came across of Bishop Wilfred Anagbe, a Catholic bishop as well, talking on an international scene about the religious persecutions that are going on in Nigeria. Where is CAN? Where is PFN? Even for the Catholic bishops themselves to be the ones trying to plead for clemency for Sunday Jackson. On a normal day as well, probably Sunday Jackson will be someone that is celebrated, that he would have been killed, but instead he overpowered his adversary and out of self-defense, of course, ended up, of course, ending the person's life. But today he's on death row, even up to the Supreme Court. And now the only way that can get him out of that situation, after spending 10 years in prison, awaiting trial for only 5 sittings. I took time to discuss about that. But look at something. If you look at the channel here, clearly, that video had not even up to 1,000 views. How many followers does this particular channel have? 30,000 at least. Anyway, for me, I've never really cared about subscriber count in a way. Why? Because it doesn't really count as to those who see your video. So that's why you don't hear me say like, share, subscribe, all of. I don't say those things. Okay? If you like, if you like, share, if you like. Those who are my audience as well, they know how to find me or something. 200 and something views. No one cares. But I talked about Messi Chinwa and the whole VDM saga, 4,000 something. It's not even up to 24 hours. And you think I don't know that you don't care?
I am Wilfred Anagbe, that appear here as the bishop, the Catholic bishop of Makurdi Diocese, the capital of Benue State in Nigeria. I am the shepherd of one of the 4 dioceses, Catholic dioceses in Benue. We have others, Anglican, Methodist, and Pentecostals, which sort of them. Benue State has a population of about 6.1 million people, 2 million of whom are those under my care as the bishop of the diocese. Benue State is about 98% Christian, with very few Muslims living in towns. Nigeria and eventually my diocese and the state of Benue have become, in recent years, one of the most dangerous and insecure places for Christians. Christians and Muslims are nearly evenly divided among Nigeria's large population of over 200 million persons. Islamist extremists are fiercely contesting the possession, control, and governing law of the land, especially in the country's northern and central regions, the latter of which is where Benue is located. There are constant ethnic, political, and religious conflicts over land and allegiance. Constitutionally, we are a secularist country, but our unity has been fragile. Political and religious actions and even public speech have been carefully managed to avoid accusations of religious bias and political tensions. Today, The clear influence of Islamist extremists has changed the traditional social dynamics of tribe, ethnicity, religion, and the social status in Nigeria. Because just recently, at the beginning of the Ramadan fast, 12 states in northern Nigeria have declared closed schools so that they attend to this. And you can imagine which other country in the world does that.
Which other country?
Saudi Arabia is not doing it. Afghanistan is not doing it.
Even
Baghdad
the
is not
more
doing
Muslim
it, but then
countries.
Nigeria is practicing. What kind of Islam are they practicing? 12 states, and not only Muslims are living in these places. What happens with the educational program or curriculum of the country? But this is what we are going through every day in Nigeria. A long-term Islamic agenda to homogenize the population has been implemented over several presidencies through a strategy to reduce and eventually eliminate the Christian identity of half of the population. This strategy includes both violent and non-violent actions, such as the exclusion of Christians from positions of power and adoption of such church members, the raping of women, the killing and exploitation of Christians, the destruction of churches and farmlands of Christian farmers, followed by the occupation of such lands by the Fulani herders, and also changing the names of these villages. They are taking over the places, so you clearly see an expansionist approach and Islamic, and then they are making the people now flee and leave their villages, and they conquer it. The quest to Islamalize the land appears high on the agenda of some of the powerful and influential Muslims in Nigeria. There is a campaign to take land to spread Islam, and there is the hemorrhaging of Christian farmers from the central region of Nigeria and Benue State, and Makurdi Diocese in particular, as they are forced to abandon fertile lands that used to feed the nation, which classify Benue as the food basket of the nation. Militant Fulani.
That's the food basket of the nation. Now, there's this video I came across. Just look at this video for a moment and think. I don't know the source of the video. I don't even know if it's Nigeria. But wherever this is happening, look at how these people are ripping out crops from the land that someone must have planted, put together, but the land itself is bare, and they are ripping out crops, that is cassava, cutting it and feeding the cows. That land, definitely they were not the one that cultivated those land, because if they were the one that cultivated it, you will see there will be a way they would treat the crops there. Or did they just walk into a place and say that the land is fertile and then there's some food there for the cows or something? I think what he says as well here makes a lot of sense. But if you know the full context of that video, please tell me in the comments.
These men are terrorists destroying society. They steal and vandalize, they kill and boast about it. They kidnap and rape, and they enjoy total impunity from the elected authorities. None of them have been arrested and brought to justice. This is supported by the corrupt system in which we operate and the abject poverty among us, which allow the criminals to easily attract more recruits and prey on more victims. Why is this happening? Is it really a religious war? Like in the past, many jihadists are motivated less by religion than by spoils of war and use their religion to impose themselves. In my diocese, the spoils consist mainly of fertile, well-tended land organized around my parishes or so. The jihadists come and adopt and kill the priests, leaving thousands without support and basic human services.
Adopt and kill the priest. It just reminds me of what, I think some of you have seen that video. Maybe I might play it towards the end. What Father Oloma was talking about this whole Christian organization and this whole CAN, PFN. He was talking about CAN, to be precise. If you are really, really body of Christ, or that body of Christ association is just for political reasons, where there is a common interest with respect to politics or something, but in the end, you don't even care about each other or what happens in anyone's fold. Now, someone might be looking at it from another faction and saying that, oh, he's going there to go and speak for himself. But you understand what I'm saying when I play for you the video of Mensa Otabil. So you really understand the mindset of those that are in the Orthodox circle with respect to how they think about the faith, aside whatever doctrines that makes Pentecostal different from the Orthodox, but how they think about the faith and think about Christianity. You might say, oh, he's a bishop, he's speaking about himself or what is happening over there. But there are other people, of course, that are Christians in other denominations, like he mentioned, in the same state.
In my SWOT team, I took a SWOT analysis. I spoke about opportunity. So let's throw up the next slide. So this is our advantage. Our spirituality, spontaneity, personalization. Everybody feels God has something for them to do. Much of what we have heard, most of the things we hear here, you will not hear if you go to a Catholic seminar. You will not really hear people talking and personalizing the message to you. They will focus it on the church. They wouldn't say, but you have this and God wants to use you and God wants to... No, they will say the church needs you, the church wants to use you. Because it doesn't have the personalization that the charismatics have. And we have personalization because of how our movement started as a personalized ministry. So when we preach, we always personalize. We always personalize. It's one of the characteristics of us. So, but it's a strength. I don't consider it a weakness. I think it's a strength. I think when you listen to Pastor Sam, you listen to Dr. Chan, you listen to Pastor Andre, and all of them, they personalize what they teach. And why we do that is because we are charismatics. If you go to the Methodist Church, they will not personalize. They will talk in generalities. The Presbyterians are not going to personalize because that's not their history. But our history includes personalization, which is what has also given us great growth. That is why, if you ask, for example, the average person to name top pastors in Ghana, top pastors, I can tell you, they will not name any from the Catholic Church, from the Presbyterian Church, from the Methodist Church. They will always name, they won't even name from Church of Pentecost. They will always name from the Charismatics. You know why? Because those churches don't personalize. Charismatics personalize. And because Charismatics personalize, individuals stand out. But sometimes when the individuals stand out, it's at the expense of the group. And the group becomes weaker, but individuals become stronger. So we have a strength, but that strength can also have a weakness. I hope you get that. So this is it. This is our strength. But these are the opportunities we have to capitalize.
The citizens or the people of the lands, they take over. And any attempt to go back and take care of your farms, surely you get killed. The Makurdi Diocese in Benue State has been the epicenter of the invasion by these herders who are more like hired guns of cattle oligarchies, who manipulate religion to rally the herders to eliminate the Christian population and cleanse the land in the name of Islam. This objective is behind the relentless attacks against Benue's villages. When we call for help to the police and the army, they do not come. At the end of 2024, several villages were warned by the attackers of the upcoming violence, and the leaders called the police for defense ahead of time. But they did not come, and the Christian massacres, almost customary, took place, killing hundreds in Plateau and Benue, with the worst massacre claiming 47 people. The militant also burned down the 8 Catholic churches of St. Mary's Parish in the Diocese of Boko, which in Benue State, as well as the parish house, clinics, schools, and other houses. The militant Fulani herdsmen bear on defenseless villagers without consequences. They follow orders to conquer, kill, and occupy. They attack even those who have managed to escape into our IDP camps. Thereby, they have no place to run to. And it is unfortunate that the police system in Nigeria, orders have to come from above. And such that once there's a call, and they say they have never responded. And by the time they arrive, these people have left, and the people are now living in the pool of their blood.
The police themselves, I think I was talking about it when I was discussing about the issue of Sunday Jackson. I showed you that even the police themselves, they reveal, at least someone, of course, that in the top position was revealing, indeed, that even some people involved in these key stakeholders, some of them are in government, And whether you like it or not, these insecurities that are happening, some people are profiting from it. Imagine a state that is 90% or 80% Christians, and they are the ones that are persecuted like this, where they are majority. Now, as our Christian faith as well, it is not us, we don't go to war. We are not like with the same mindset that they might have as well, jihadistry or whatever. And when a Christian, Sunday Justin, defended himself, even for defending himself, he is on death row. What signal does that even send to the masses? When they come for you, you are the victim. If you go for them, you are still the victim. Is that what it's supposed to be?
What I have recounted above is happening not only in Benue State. I believe our experience in Benue is symptomatic of what is happening elsewhere in large parts of Nigeria. The experience of the Nigerian Christians today can be summed up as that of a church under Islamist extermination. It is frightening to live there. Apart from the violent campaigns and attacks against Christian villages, there are now attempts by the Islamic Council of Nigeria and various Islamic groups to impose Sharia law on the Christian populations.
That is true. Some of you had seen the video that it even got to the point of the National Assembly, the House, that they were discussing about that bill. And if you talk about the president, of course, he would tell you that his wife is a pastor. So there's no agenda. What might be happening as well may just be the religion, of course, used as a cover for people perpetuating their acts in the country. And some, of course, might also be religious extremism. Indeed.
Already, 12 states in the north of Nigeria are under this sectarian religious law and attempts to extend the same to the south of Nigeria, which they have started. This month, governors in the north decided appropriately to close all schools and education institutions during the months of Ramadan, leaving millions of students without learning opportunity for 5 weeks. We live in fear because at any point it can be our turn to be killed, but to remain silent is to die twice. So, I have chosen to speak. I speak on behalf of the millions who are in the camps. In Benue State, in Makurdi Diocese alone, in my diocese, I have about 9 camps. 9. On the 5th of March, which was Ash Wednesday, we visited one of the camps, and many of my priests and religious went to the other camps, distributed them to begin the Ash Wednesday with our faithful who are there, because we are the voice of the voiceless. We have to talk for the defenseless. We have to talk about the weak and those who cannot talk about themselves. In one of the camps called the Mega Camp, there were over 3,000 inmates of that camp, and which was a record given to us by government. I speak on behalf of them.
Have you even asked yourself, where is the funding even coming for this camp? The vex. So if I see some kind comment this week, if I piasso you, don't vex, because already at the vex. You understand? Thank you.
And those children who have no husband, who have no father, and even their own voice is taken away by the politicians who promise to help them, but have become the willing tools of the jihadists because they are talking politically correct statements, looking for next elections to come. I speak on behalf of those whose loved ones have been killed, but no one has even offered a word of consolation to them. I speak on behalf of the thousands of young girls who have been adopted and raped because no one, not even the media, mentions them anymore. Foremost, I speak on behalf of my flock who are unable to worship freely and unable to return to their ancestral farms and homes because that land has been ruthlessly taken from them by the armed herdsmen. And where they say they want to live in peace with the natives, if you must farm, you have to pay tax to hire the land which belongs to you.
For him to even leave his state, leave Nigeria, and then come on an international scene like this to be talking about this is to show you how dysfunctional the system itself is. It's very saddening. For him to leave all the way to be talking about this on an international scene shows how dysfunctional the system itself is within. Will you call this one land grabbing, ethnic cleansing?
That is slavery, to say the least about it. As prosperous Nigeria is in the African continent, and I tell you, if there's outbreak of war in Nigeria, no country around us, Chad, Niger, Ghana, Guinea, Togo, no country can contain the population that will flee to these places. No country can be able to house over 5 million refugees. It's not possible because of that. And if 1 million refugees run to Chad and Niger, they'll collapse that country because there'll be no plan to take care of them. So we have to be very careful. Today, I urge you all to use every means within your mandate to start developing a strong and good relationship with Nigeria, where you know that when you speak of human dignity, you are also speaking of the same God-given right you believe is unalienable. Consider that Nigeria can be your ally, but it cannot be one where half the population is in the process of being murderously eliminated. Work with us, the churches, and other Nigerians of goodwill. We are working for a peaceful and prosperous society, and our desperate plight has been set aside U.S. foreign policy for too long, to the cost of thousands of lives. Concretely, I request and I plead, I ask you to redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. This has both a practical and diplomatic meaning to signal that you are paying attention to what happens to us and elsewhere in the world. Because the policies the government is trying to put in place, so that to return the IDPs, build camps for them, relocate them from their homes, it is not durable and it will not work, because the government has already the population that is not able to take care of. And then you have over millions of people in the camps, and you want to relocate them to where? And if you do, let's take that you do. How many houses or rooms will you give me who has 5 children, another one has 3, another one has 2? And what will I be doing for a living? These people previously never begged anybody for food. They were managing their lives, training their children, and building their homes. So nobody should have deceived us on the guys that you're going to resettle the IDPs. They have no jobs. So where you say them, what will be their place? And by the way, the fundamental question remains, if you resettle them to other camps or build places for them, what happens with the ancestral lands? Who takes care of them? And this is whereby I feel the government is complicit on this issue. Because these terrorists, Fulanis, displace them, kill people, and then occupy the place, and then change names, nomenclatures of these towns. For what reason? So we want to let the people go back to their homes and help for them to rebuild their lives. I implore this august body to insist on the return and rehabilitation of all the IDPs to their ancestral lands, and not to relocate them to other constructed camps elsewhere, which is an invented solution now being pushed in the Benue State government. And I tell you, Nigeria government can do that once they have to be accountable. Because I know Nigeria, under the auspices of ECOMOG, was able to reinstate constitutional government in Sierra Leone and Liberia. And they can do that now. We have the capacity, because the leaders that are not prepared. And I think that's whereby I look, it's not just conspiracy of silence, it is aiding, abetting, and supporting these terrorists to keep doing their work. This is my plea. Thank you very much.
I think that was a very good plea. That was a very good plea. Watch this video by Merck. I think it's something interesting I think you need to hear. At least his perspective on what is going on in Nigeria. It's an old video I saw, but I think I have to share it with you.
Over the Christmas break, there were a series of attacks in northern Nigeria, Plateau State to be specific. These were attributed to Fulani militias attacking Christians, and hundreds of lives were lost, were taken, and thousands were displaced during these attacks. Most of the victims of these attacks were farmers, Christian farmers. And the peculiarity of it is that a lot of them were Christians. So people are saying that there were religious motivations for these attacks. The reaction has been unfortunate from the Nigerian government, and it hasn't been as, speedy as we would like it to be. And obviously we have a new president, Bola Tinubu, who is the new president of Nigeria. So he's being criticized heavily for his reaction to these attacks. We've been having these issues a lot in Nigeria, Boko Haram, northern Nigeria, militia attacks, jihadists, all of that, so on and so forth for many years. This has been going on for so long now that it's almost become a normal thing where people just say that, let's just accept that this is just how it is, and we go about our daily lives. I wasn't even specifically aware of all the details of it till I did my own research, because this hasn't been pushed out there as much as I believe that it should be, especially for Nigerians. All Nigerians should be very concerned about it. All Africans should be concerned about it, because this event is mirrored around the African continent, specifically West Africa. Because you remember that Niger has been having issues with militants, and who France were supposed to be helping deal with. They kicked out France, and very, very quickly, Niger were able to take out and eradicate the militias that were troubling their own country. Niger is just above Nigeria, so it's not very far away. The same thing that Burkina Faso had been dealing with. Captain Traore is in there taking care of those militias. Now, the question that I want to ask, and this is a very, very serious question I want to ask here, is that one of the most powerful armies in Africa is allegedly the Nigerian army, the Nigerian military. One of the most wealthy countries in Africa is Nigeria. The most naturally rich country, natural resources, is Nigeria. We have the money, the might, and the power to eradicate any militia that is trying to harass Nigerians. Now, I want to ask, with that kind of power that Nigeria possesses in terms of military might, financial might, how can any militia with pea shooters, and I'm going to get onto the pea shooter thing in a minute, is able to continuously terrorize Nigerians? Because Nigeria, if you cannot take care of militias running around, guerrilla fighters in the north, what are you going to do to protect Nigeria, the country, if Nigeria is attacked by a military force? I am wondering, and I want somebody to answer for me, when a country has a military might like Nigeria has, the weaponry that Nigeria has, the money that Nigeria has, the resources that Nigeria has, how is it so difficult for you to wipe out a handful of militias running around terrorizing northern Nigerians? How is this an issue that we've been dealing with for decades? That people are kidnapping people, burning down houses, raiding villages, taking people out en masse. There have been accusations, and these are allegations because there's no proof that what I'm going to say is actually the case. There have been accusations and allegations that the Nigerian military were involved in these attacks. They found ammunition that was used in the attacks that's a military grade ammunition. How does militias hiding out in the jungle have ammo like this? Where did they get them from? So they said that either the military are disguised as these militias who are attacking these places, or the military are providing the ammunition to these militias to do what they're doing. These are allegations, guys, so I cannot say whether this is the case, but it connects to what I said in the beginning. It's that, how is it possible that these people are able to do this and we have an army and we're not able to weed these people out? The regions that are getting attacked in the north allegedly have gold under the ground. It's a lot of arable land for farming, agriculture, food to feed the whole country. At the same time that these attacks are happening, allegedly there is mining going on for natural resources, gold, other things under the ground over there in Plateau State and other areas of the north which are getting attacked constantly. So you just have to look at this and you say that all these international bodies, Amnesty International, United Nations, Red Cross, G7, NATO, everybody who's commenting on these attacks and making comments and saying, oh, we condemn it, the Nigerian government. This is the same Nigerian government that you guys are supporting. The same Nigerian government that you're using as proxy warriors against other African nations via ECOWAS to sanction them. So you're sanctioning other countries because of their coups and their things. Why are you not sanctioning the Nigerian government for misbehavior with these sorts of situations? This is a real question because you're very quick to sanction Burkina Faso, sanction Niger, sanction Mali, sanction Guinea, sanction Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to be fair, because I looked at those images, I looked at those videos, and I'm just like, you know what? This is, you know what, we're going into a new year now. And that's the reason why I'm actually even talking about this now, because you make New Year's resolutions, things need to change. I think that as a community of Africans and as Nigerians specifically, we need to take a greater interest as a community in cleaning this stuff up, in holding people accountable. We should not allow this story of what happened in the north to just pass away as all the other stories of attacks have happened in Nigeria and just keep on moving till the next time it happens. An end has to be put. This should be one of the mandates of the new administration. Before the new administration even got into power, this should have been one of the things that you said that in order for you to even get into power, you must eradicate attacks like this happening in the north of Nigeria. Because this is going on all over Africa. And while people like Burkina Faso and all these other countries are getting presidents and people who are taking the bull by the horns and actually directly addressing these issues, we've got a situation that this is happening over Christmas. We don't want to do conspiracy theory here. But the people who are speculating that there is so much effort to make this look religious so as to distract you from what is really going on, there is some credence to that because it looks very fishy to me. I'm like, this whole thing where you're making it seem that this is all a religious thing. Where are the demands? What demands are they making? Like, if it's religious, then what is it that you're actually advocating for? What are you fighting for? Why are you doing this? And what is your goal? None of these things make sense. So the only thing that you can default to is that, no, you're creating unrest, but what you're doing is that you're destabilizing the region so much that behind closed doors, you can be doing a whole bunch of mess there, but people are not even looking at that because they're focused on the other unrest that is going on. That actually makes a lot more sense as the possibility of what is actually occurring in Nigeria, which is mirrored in a lot of other countries out there. You know, I mean, I look at things like this and, you know, it's very unfortunate. And, you know, you don't want to have to report on stories like this in the new year. But I think that there is a positive lining to this story. And the positive lining is that this could be a moment of reflection for the country, a moment for us to look forward and say that enough is enough. I think this is an opportunity for that. And I hope that all Nigerians and all Africans who are watching this submission, who have been followers of my platform, who know about what we are trying to achieve here, start taking some actual responsibility and hold the leaders accountable for the safety and prosperity of Nigeria and Africa, our cable land. We've got to think about that, you know? Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Make sure that you check out my newsletter. You go to themerc.io and you sign up to the Al Cableland newsletter, and you get onto the premium tier where you will get.
Now, that is someone, of course, that really focuses on discussing about issues that happen in Africa and also Africa and diaspora and everything. And what I have to say, the reason why I'm making this video is because I really want us to be aware of what is going on. I don't know how many Christians are watching me. I don't know how many Muslims are watching me. But the question would be, if it were to be you in this particular center of conversation, if it were to be you that is living in those particular locations, if it were to be your parents and your grandparents that are living there, would you be okay with it? You know, some people, Nigeria has never really happened to you. Nigeria has happened to me. A gun has been put to my head before. My own parent has been kidnapped before. Oh yes. So until you really get to experience the insecurities happening in Nigeria, you will not really understand. And I get it. Ever since I heard about this Sunday Jackson case, it's just been troubling me. I'm like, why is no one talking about it? It had to be the Catholic bishops themselves. So in case those who watch my previous video, if you go to the comment section, don't even read my response to anybody, because I am giving everybody is collecting. If you come and talk what you don't, that is not adding up, I'll give it to you, okay? But of course, it's that's the mood I'm in now. It is just my hope that Sunday Jackson is free, either from the clemency that is pleaded from the president, or maybe coming, of course, right here from the governor of the state. That's the only way he can be free, even though he's facing death row at this point. I discussed about this extensively before, so I don't want to talk about it that much. If you want to see what we discussed about before, the video is there. But all the same, I cannot force you to watch something you don't want to watch. It is your time, it is your investment that you want to sit down and watch. So I know what gives you attention. I know what you care about. Gists, drama, kiniko. Maybe that's why I'm talking about it here. But we have some bigger things to discuss on my main channel. It is well.